Allegiance for anyone wishing to participate. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll call this meeting to order. This is the Morgantown City Council regular meeting for Tuesday, February 3rd. It's 7:05 p.m. We will ask Clerk Wade to first call the roll.
Yes. Joe Buganim.
Present.
Jody Hollingshead. Here. Louise Michael.
Here.
Jenny Celine.
Here.
Mark Downs.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Butcher. Mayor Trumbull.
Here. Started to say that passes 6-0. That's not what we do. The first item.
We made it through attendance now. Let's see how we can do it.
I've taken some cold medicine today. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have January 20th, 2026 special meeting minutes, January 20th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, January 27th, 2026 special meeting minutes, and January 27th, 2026 committee of the whole meeting minutes. Were there any additions, corrections? Seeing none, approved by consensus? Yes? Fantastic. At this time, we will move into correspondence, and we have the Black History Month proclamation. It is my understanding that there are members of the Morgantown Human Rights Commission, the Morgantown Kingwood branch of the NAACP, and representatives of the West Virginia University Center for Black Culture and Research.
Get up there, everybody.
He told me that he had it ready for us this way, so. Whereas 2026 marks the 100th anniversary of formally celebrating the Black diaspora for its contributions to the culture, economy, education, and history of the United States, celebrating Black History Month reminds us of our ongoing struggle against racism and our commitment to be a society that genuinely lives by its democratic principles. And whereas what started in 1926 as Negro History Week, a time of learning and recognition, has grown into an annual month-long observance of Black history throughout February. The change began in 1970 with a student-led proclamation at Kent State University. President Ford first recognized Black History Month in 1976. In 1986, an act of Congress made National Afro-American Black History Month a part of federal law. And whereas the celebration of Black History Month has spread globally, for decades, Canada, Germany, France, the United Kingdom, and Ireland have formally acknowledged and honored the annual commemoration. And whereas West Virginia has a unique connection to the Black History Recognition Movement due to the efforts of Dr. Carter G. Woodson, widely known as the father of Black history. Woodson was the son of newly freed slaves who relocated to West Virginia after the Civil War. He attended Douglas High School in Huntington, worked in the coal mines near the New River, taught school in Fayette County, and eventually returned to Douglas High School as its principal. He was the second Negro to earn a PhD from Harvard and the only child of formerly enslaved parents to ever do so. Later in life, he served as the academic dean at West Virginia Collegiate Institute, now West Virginia State University. And whereas Dr. Woodson established Negro History Week to coincide with the February birthdays of two prominent advocates for Negro freedom, Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. Woodson held that denying people their history deprives them of their humanity. His goal was to integrate Black history into all educational curricula, libraries, churches, and communities. Negro History Week was not a symbolic gesture. It sought to ignite a profound and enduring transformation in America's perception and understanding of itself. West Virginia was one of the original 3 states to observe Negro History Week in 1926. And whereas Morgantown strives for inclusivity by recognizing and appreciating the inherent value of every citizen, throughout February, we honor our community members of Black descent, both past and present, for their profound contributions to our cultural, spiritual, economic, and political growth. We emphasize that Black history is not a mere footnote in American history, it is an integral and essential part of it. Now therefore I, Danielle Trumbull, Mayor of the City of Morgantown, on behalf of the Morgantown City Council, do hereby proclaim February 2026 as Black History Month in the City of Morgantown. We encourage all citizens to honor the often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans throughout the year as we celebrate our diverse culture and heritage and continue building a more just and peaceful world with liberty and justice for all. And we thank Annie Cronin York, Chair of the HRC, for writing that proclamation. If we'd like to. I am happy to read whatever. Everyone scooch in a little. We'll make it look like we're.
Like we like each other.
Thank you so much. The next item on our agenda this evening is public hearings. We have two. First, I will open the public hearing on an ordinance authorizing a lease agreement with Intune Counseling LLC for office space at the Morgantown Municipal Airport. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this specific item? Seeing none, we will close that public hearing. And now, an ordinance providing for annual reporting by boards and commissions. We'll open this public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Annie Cronin York, Human Rights Commission. My only concern with this piece of ordinancing is that it requires, generally speaking, volunteer laypersons to go find the city charter and figure out what it says on that given day. On the other hand, it makes a great deal of sense to have it centralized and same day for everybody. So I'm glad they're consolidating it. I just wish that it were more explicit in each commission's chart, ordinance as to when the report is due. Because some people write them late.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we will close that public hearing. We will move into unfinished business. Our only item of unfinished business is boards and commissions. Are there any appointments for boards and commissions this evening?
I have one, Mayor. I'd like to nominate for Health and Wellness Isabel Van Not A.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
May I nominate Sarah Barnes to the Planning Commission on behalf of the First Ward
Second.
Representative.
Ward and Boundary Commission?
Ward and Boundary Commission. Thank you. Sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Yes.
May I nominate Amanda Doty to the Human Rights Commission?
Second.
Second? There's a second down
Yeah.
there.
All in favor? Yes. Great.
I'd like to nominate Judith Wasserman to the Urban Landscapes Commission.
Second.
All
Yes.
in favor?
And I will nominate Brian Cole to the Morgantown Parking Authority.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
That was the list of board and commission nominations that I had. Did we miss any? Seeing none, we will move on to our public portion, subject to rules established by council, adopted by resolution. Generally, that would be you. Please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. You have 4 minutes to speak. Please no personal comments. Our first person signed up this evening is Isabel Van Natta.
You don't have to do anything.
Hello, is this thing on?
It is on. You are good to go.
Okay. Hello, I'm Isabella Christopher Banana, owner of North Star Nature Club and a resident of 400 Willie Street, Morgantown, West Virginia, 26505, apartment 901. For the past 3 years, I've noticed a decline in the pavement street near on Spruce Avenue, mostly between the city public library up to the corner of First Presbyterian Church. I've noticed that there's like big divots in the road. I got splashed with dirty water from a puddle a couple of times already. I'm just curious about what can you guys do to at least just temporarily repair them. I know the repair isn't permanent, but and maybe I know you guys probably can't do this, but maybe redirect the water instead of from puddling up in those potholes. Maybe install drains in the road. Also, I also noticed that Willie Street is very good. It used to be very rough. I want to thank the board for making it a lot safer. Also, I have one small suggestion. I would like the sidewalk to be continued above beyond Willie Street up to the Mile Ground area. That will not only provide safety and community for the citizens of Morgantown, West Virginia, but it will provide bicyclers a little bit safer passage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person signed up is Javier McCoy. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor Trumbull, elected officials, and the greater Morgantown community. On behalf of the West Virginia University Center for Black Culture, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this sincere proclamation of this auspicious occasion. While I do serve as the interim director of the Center for Black Culture at West Virginia University, I'm a proud graduate of West Virginia State University. Dr. Carter G. Woodson was the dean from 1920 to 1922. Black history runs deep in the state of West Virginia, and I am proud that we are standing on the legacy of those who have come before us. And so, before I take my seat, I think that this poem I learned in undergrad would really be fitting for this particular occasion. It's entitled, "It Couldn't Be Done," and the author is unknown. But the poem simply says, somebody said it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that it's not that he couldn't, and he wouldn't say that he wouldn't, at least until he had tried. So he buckled right in with a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quitting. He started to sing as he tackled the thing, and guess what? He did it. Somebody yelled at him and said, "Oh no, I don't think what you're trying to do is possible." But he took off his coat, he took off his hat with the lift of his chin and a bit of a grin. Without any doubting or quitting, he started to sing as he tackled the thing. And here we are, 400 years since slavery, 163 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, 72 years since Brown versus Board, 62 years since the Civil Rights Act, 50 years since the establishment of Black History Month, and 100 years since the establishment of Black History Week. So the word for this day, February 3rd, as we move forward in Black History Month, is that there are thousands will tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands who have sat back and tried to prophesy your failure. So the next time you set out to embark on the journey that to some is unimaginable, to some is unthinkable, and to some is unspeakable, remember to take off your coat, take off your hat with the lift of your chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quitting. Start to sing as you tackle the thing. And because we stand on the shoulders of giants, all is possible. Black history is American history, and while we have come a mighty long way, we still have a long road ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Annie?
Annie Cronin, your Human Rights Commission. Who here knew that Black History Month was a West Virginia baby? I did not. My daughter was a lady of the Golden Horseshoe. I told her about it tonight. She, what? She had not heard that. Carter Woodson was born in Virginia because his mom was out of town visiting relatives at the time. However, they were residents of West Virginia at the time. 10 years after the Civil War ended, and that is, Daddy had gone and fought in as a free man and showed where all of these slaveholders were holding their goodies and helping a lot with Civil War effort doing that. They moved to West Virginia to become farmers, and they were dirt poor. Mom could read because she'd been a lady's maid, so she taught her kids to read. And he had a brother who was going to Frederick Douglass High School in Huntington. I think the building is still there, but it was closed down a few times and reopened and then rebuilt, and probably not a thing anymore. But Frederick Douglass was a hero for the obvious reasons, and also because his name was high school and he felt pretty loyal to it. But he couldn't afford to stay in high school, so he went to work in the coal mines near New River. And then he got some more offers, better deals. He got a deal to go teach in Fayetteville. Being a school teacher for a black man in 1918 was not really a thing. And yeah, he did it. He was 17 years old. or maybe he was 19 when he taught, but right around that time. He was 17. Then he went to University in Chicago, got a degree there. Went to Berea College, first in Western Kentucky. All out of order here. But then when he went to Harvard, the only person who's a black individual at all who had gotten a PhD from Harvard was W.E.B. Du Bois. He was number 2, and he remains the only person who was a child of freed slaves to earn a PhD at Harvard. Kind of a big deal, one would think. He went back and forth between Harvard and West Virginia. He was the principal at his former high school, and then he went on to be the academic dean at West Virginia State, which was at the time the West Virginia Institute for Colored People, I believe. And the verbiage changed throughout the proclamation because the names changed. In 1926 was Negro History Week, and then because of the Black Panther movement against state, they made their proclamation Black History Week. Thank you very much. And then President Ford recognized it. He couldn't make a proclamation because Congress had not authorized it. Reagan was the first one to formally proclaim it, I believe. Could be wrong. But since then, it's been a president's proclamation. So I looked to see what this year's proclamation was. And I wish I had not. It was, in fact, proclaimed by President Trump. And I'll not read it to you because you're probably all eating dinner. But it does go on to say that the far left has been trying to divide us by class and race, and observing these sort of things only helps that. It's part of it. And we're beyond that. But it is nationally recognized still. I believe the state of West Virginia is still recognizing it because of congressional legislative directive. It is an important part of denying people their history, deprives them of humanity. I think it's true. If you cannot read about your people, you don't see any models who are like you in your books or on TV, in our case, then how are you supposed to model yourself? How are you supposed to know that you can succeed? And that was his purpose in doing this, was letting others know that they too could succeed and do well in this world. And just in a closing note, Carter Godwin Woodson, great as he was, and West Virginia, who we should all be proud of, and we should all own this day as a West Virginia Day. This month is West Virginia Month. Is no relation to Charles Woodson, the cornerback from Michigan, the only person who's a defensive player ever to win the Heisman Trophy.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Just state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Mark King, and I am the president of the Morgantown Kingwood NAACP. I am also a small business owner here in Morgantown. Today, I extend my gratitude to the Morgantown City Council for issuing this proclamation. As the president of the Morgantown Kingwood NAACP, I stand before you on behalf of our branch to celebrate and acknowledge the rich diversity that defines our community. Currently, our community grapples with a pervasive sense of fear and anxiety, particularly regarding the expression of one's identity without political affiliation. It's imperative that we, as members of this community, continue to champion and highlight the diversity that makes our community unique. During Black History Month, it's also important that we recognize the profound impact of our community and the transformative power of healing. I believe that in community, there is healing and there is strength. And so as we do things like this today, I want us as moving forward to know that this is not where it stops. We have a long ways to go, and I hope as members of the City Council that you're willing to show up, stand up, and be members in solidarity with our community and those who feel the fear and the oppression and the anxiety. Thank you very much. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak this evening? Seeing none, we will close the public portion. We have no special committee reports. Brings us to our consent agenda this evening. There are 3 items on the consent agenda. I will read through each of the items. If there's any member of council wishing to pull any item from the consent agenda, they may do so. Otherwise, we will make motions and approve together with no deliberation. Item A, consideration of approval of second reading of an ordinance authorizing a lease agreement with Intune Counseling LLC for office space at the Morgantown Municipal Airport. First reading, January 20th, 2026. Item B, consideration of approval of second reading of an ordinance providing for annual reporting by boards and commissions. First reading, January 20th, 2026. Item C, consideration of approval of first reading of an ordinance for establishing and maintaining one-way roads and restricted turns. Is there a motion?
Move to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Clerk Wade?
Yes, Joe Buganim,
Yes?
Jody Hollingshead,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Jenny Celine,
Yes.
Mark Downs,
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull.
Yes? Now I can say it passes 6-0. Brings us into our new business this evening. Item A of new business, consideration of approval of first reading of an ordinance of the City of Morgantown authorizing acquisition of the Town of Star City water and sewer utilities and amending Articles 925 and 927 of City Code to establish rates for service area of the former Town of Star City water and sewer utilities.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. This item was presented to City Council on the January Committee of the Whole related to the acquisition of the Star City utilities. We do have members of the Morgantown Utility Board here today to address any further questions of the council, but the matter before you all would authorize the acquisition as well as establish the rates. The current proposed ordinance does maintain the current rate structure in place currently by the Star City program as it stands. So I will turn it over if you would like to make any comment.
Eric Carlson, Chairman of the Board of the Morgantown Utility Board. I said board twice. 278 Greenback Road, Morgantown. Happy to answer any questions you may have, but I gave a presentation here a week ago and can reiterate anything, can answer any questions you have, but I'm happy to also stand here and be silent.
Questions for Eric?
Just appreciate the care that you all took in looking over this as an entity that you're willing to take on. It doesn't change very much. It's still the same service provider that you all have been, and appreciate the presence of the mayor here, and glad that we're moving forward with this.
Thank you so much. And our general manager, Mike McNulty, sends his regards. He is in Washington this evening with the National Rural Water Association.
I'd like to share the same sentiments as Councilor Celine. Welcome to Star City Mayor for being here, and thank you for being here. Yeah, let's move forward on this.
Thank you, Councilman.
Is that a motion? You want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Further discussion? I'm well aware this is going to pass, but I still have several of the same concerns that I had last time, mostly about future of rates and the policies concerning minimum billing of that system versus how the rest of the system is charged for minimum billings. Also still have concerns about what kind of capital improvements are going to be needed. Also concerns about spreading of staffing too thin, but just to go back on the record as saying those are my concerns.
Well, we're all hoping that you'll vote with us. We shall see.
Clerk Wade?
Yes, Joe Buganim,
Yes.
Jody Hollingshead,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Jenny Celine,
Yes.
Mark Downs,
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull.
No, sorry to disappoint, but passes 5-1.
Your prerogative, always.
My prerogative. Brings us to item B, consideration of approval of first reading of an ordinance authorizing institution of eminent domain proceedings as needed for acquisition of property in the Greenmont neighborhood as provided in the CDBG action plan.
Thank you, Mayor. Attorney Simonton is going to take the lead on this one.
Thank you, Council. This ordinance will authorize the city manager, if needed, to institute eminent domain proceedings to acquire real estate that is a part of the city's adopted CDBG annual action plan and consolidated 5-year plan. This relates to the city's plan to create a park and open space in the lower Greenmont area as part of the most recent plan amendments that City Council approved. There are 2 properties that are targeted for acquisition with these funds, and the city continues to work with those property owners in an effort to negotiate a transfer price that is acceptable to the owners as well as to the city's funding agency. This is really done as a proactive measure in the event that the city and the property owners would not be able to agree on terms that are acceptable to all parties, and that the city is in a place where it needs to move forward in order to meet the timelines of the grant funding requirements. In particular, one of our upcoming spend down timelines for these CDBG funds occurs at the beginning of May. So we need to be in a position where the city is able to expend those funds and still move forward with the project, but we continue to try to work with the property owners to make sure we've exhausted every avenue to acquire the property without any eminent domain proceedings. We recommend council move this on past first reading, but I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions for Attorney Simonton?
So this ordinance, so not really specific to, I guess, its application here, but are we required? It's interesting to me that the scope of the ordinance is limited to this specific project or this specific neighborhood and this specific action plan. Is that a requirement of our charter, bylaws, or ordinance, or is it just, I mean, never like to see eminent domain as a tool that we have at our disposal, want to see it used as a last resort, obviously, as you said, but I was just curious about that.
Yeah, that's a great question, Councilor. Eminent domain is an authority of the council. Certainly it can be delegated by ordinance, and it could be done in more broad terms than what's presented here. There is a requirement that the city council adopt an ordinance in order to acquire property, so that's why if this will result in property acquisition, we'd want it to be approved by ordinance, but you do have options to craft an ordinance authorizing this kind of action in a different way if you would choose to explore that in the future.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions?
Trying to figure out how to phrase this. Sometimes eminent domain is used in a more kind of confrontational way with an unwilling property owner. And sometimes it's used when it's just difficult to obtain clean title, or there's issues with trying to purchase a piece of property that are beyond the control of the person who is trying to sell a piece of property, or groups of people that are trying to sell a piece of property. So I just wanted to keep that in mind while we're looking at something like this, that there's different reasons that we use eminent domain, and sometimes they're not, I don't know, sometimes they're not as confrontational as others. But the fact remains that in this situation, if you're going to do something within the time required, that something like this is needed, and it has been used very rarely. So just, I guess, pointing that out, and I don't know if you had anything else to say on that.
I think it's an apt description, and certainly municipalities across West Virginia know that that title to real estate can be difficult with a lot of properties. Many of them do pass through several generations of heirs without estates being administered, and so in many instances, locating all of the people you might need in order to acquire property can be quite difficult.
Thank you. Any other questions for Attorney Simonton? Otherwise, we can have a motion.
Move to approve the ordinance authorizing institution of eminent domain proceedings for the specific purpose.
Second.
Thank you. Further discussion? Clerk White?
Yes. Joe Bugan?
Yes.
Jody Hollingshead?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Jenny Celine?
Yes.
Mark Downs?
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull?
Yes, passes 6-0. Item C of new business, consideration of approval of a first reading of an ordinance for a municipal ID program and providing standards for municipal identification cards.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. As you all know, this item was presented to you all at the January Committee of the Whole. Staff presented the pilot program of the Municipal ID program. This is a program that had been conceptualized over the last couple of years. Since that presentation, we have received some feedback related to the program by both members of the community as well as at the state level, expressing some concerns. I do think it's valid to state that the proposed municipal ID program does not surpass or circumvent the voter registration guidelines in West Virginia. Voter registration is administered by the West Virginia Secretary of State's office and requires a person to be a U.S. citizen, resident of the county where they are registering, and 18 years of age in order to register. All of these requirements remain intact. However, the program as presented has provided some confusion on whether or not the municipal ID program would allow for additional voting rights. That was not the intended goal, to provide that confusion, and I do believe it's in the best interest for us to have some additional dialogue, particularly with members of the Secretary of State's office related to the program. The municipal ID program was created with a goal of strengthening community connections and partnering with our local businesses. It's also intended to provide an additional accessible form of identification that can assist with access to programs and services within the community. An example of this would be the goal to interface with the Mountain Lion and the services that they provide. I am encouraged by some of the elements that have begun to come together on this program, and I'm grateful for the partnerships that have emerged as a result of that dialogue. And I certainly value those relationships and look forward to that conversation continuing. I do believe the program offers value to the community, but maybe we do need to look to address a couple of things further. So after thoughtfully considering feedback, I do believe the program will be stronger if we table this item temporarily while we have some additional conversations and that we clarify the intended outcomes of the program. I do note that Councilor Butcher is unable to join us today, but he has asked that I express his concerns with tabling the item. He expressed that he could support the item being tabled. Preferably, he'd like to see that tabling occur on a second reading, pending any guidance from the Secretary of State on their view of the ID program. He further expressed concerns that by deferring this item, he anticipates that we could see opposition by deferring it as well. So wanted to pass along that perspective at his request as well. But today, my ultimate recommendation would be to table this item and that we will bring this back for you.
I agree. I think we should go ahead and table it. And the intent of this program is good. And we should move forward in the future with this. Just so there's no more confusion about it, let's just go ahead and table it and
Is that a
work to
motion?
correct it. That is a motion.
Okay.
Second?
Yeah.
Okay, clerk. Motions to table are not debatable. It goes straight to a vote. Correct?
I wasn't going to debate, I was just going
Well,
to
I
have
don't-
some discussion.
Pardon?
Okay.
Am I incorrect in that
I believe that is correct under Robert's rules.
motions to table are not discussed any further?
Okay, ready? Joe Bugan?
Yes.
Jody Hollingshead? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, is it table? Okay. Yes.
Jenny
Just wanted to
Swain?
double check.
Yes.
Mark Downs?
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull?
Yes. Okay. Passes, tabling passes 6-0. Those were our items of new business. We will move on to the city manager's report.
Yes, Mayor, just two brief items. I will be sending you all some dates and times as a reminder for the week of the 9th. We will be looking to have our small one-on-one budget discussions as we finalize that. We are shooting for a goal to get you all some draft documentation tomorrow. There will be some additional documentation that follows, but you can look forward to that if you all will please be on the lookout for that email. Only other item that I'd like to bring forward is a reminder that the offices will be closed in observance of President's Day on Monday, the 16th. That concludes my report.
Thank you. City clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to share that on January 24th, the Police Civil Service Commission held their entry-level police officer exams, and out of that, those examinations, we have 9 eligible candidates, so we're grateful for that, and congratulations to those moving forward in the hiring process. This past weekend, the Fire Civil Service Commission held their agility exam, and from that exam, we have 14 eligible candidates moving forward in the hiring process, so congratulations for those. I want to share also that the next Police Civil Service Commission entry-level exam is in April. So if folks missed that due to our weather, we did have some weather. That's when we had our storm. Folks can go online and apply for the April exam. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Report from City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. With council moving forward the change in the one-way streets and prohibited turns ordinance, I'll be working with the engineering department to prepare orders and forms to designate those for council in the future, similar to what we have done with the street parking requirements at council's last ordinance change. Nothing additional to report this evening.
Thank you. We'll move on to reports from council members. Councilor Downs, would you like to go first?
Sure. The pit count was scheduled originally for January 28th, and but due to weather has been moved to February 25th. That's, for those that don't know, that's the point in time count that curriculums of care across the country put on to count folks that are homeless or experiencing homelessness in a community. Last night was the Development Services attended the Greenmont Neighborhood Association and conducted a visioning session for Lower Greenmont. I have gotten limited reports of how that went, but digging in, it's been a bit, but it was just a busy day, and unfortunately my flight was delayed by 2 hours, and I wasn't able to get there. So let's see, and finally we had a warm-up fundraising event on the 28th. It was a huge success. I just wanted to personally thank everyone that turned out for that, and that'll conclude my report.
Thank you. Councilor Smith.
I'd like to congratulate those who were appointed to boards and commissions today, and appreciation to those who came for the Black History Month proclamation. I think that those types of things of citizen participation and recognition of history and the people who made it and who are making history today, much something for us to think about. And Also, much appreciation to those who were taking care of all the rest of us during all the recent cold and storm events. And I continue to find out how difficult it is to conduct some of the tasks that are that happen during storms. I was talking to the airport director today about all of the different things that were required to clear a runway when it's that cold. And we are used to warm weather coming right behind cold that melts whatever is still a problem, and we just haven't had that. So I like to cross-country ski, so I like some cold, but not this cold. And so it's just been quite something. One reminder, which you could see a lot of the last couple days, is people, I know it's very difficult to clear sidewalks, and property owners are required to clean the sidewalks in front of their house, and the plows have covered all the sidewalks with the snow, and it's very, very difficult to do, but wherever possible, it's necessary to clear the sidewalks so people can walk and get to where they need to go. So as it warms up, things melt a little bit. Let's see what we can do to clear the sidewalks as well as the roadways. So, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Honor.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to add on to that, a reminder to folks that if they do, if they are unable for any reason to clear their sidewalks,
Yes,
that they
good.
can
Please.
call the city and we can possibly connect them with a volunteer. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We will figure it out with you if you're unable to shovel your sidewalks. Just a few things. We had our South Park Association of Neighbors Officers Only meeting this past Sunday. Super productive. We just laid out our events for the year, and there's going to be near monthly opportunities to connect in South Park with your neighbors, and we are excited about that. So keep your eyes and ears out for that. Quick little shout out to our library. A couple weeks ago, Sarah from the Morgantown Public Library System came to speak. And in all this cold and all this wet, there's not a lot to do with a 2-year-old such as mine. And the Morgantown Library has been a wonderful place for us to go, not just for books, but for the library of things that you can check things out from, all of the knowledgeable people who work there. It's been a weekly visit for my 2-year-old and I just wanted to express appreciation and encourage folks to go check it out on these snowy days. Tomorrow I'm going on a walkabout with our city ambassadors just to learn a little bit more about what their day-to-day looks like. I'm excited to report back on that. Reminder that legislative session is still happening in West Virginia and that there is a really easy way to go online and comment positive or negative on bills that are popping up. So if you are afraid of calling, like myself, you can go to www.wvlegislature.gov, click on bill status, click on bill status again, and then you can either enter, the website's a little clunky.
They make it so easy.
It's a little clunky. I have some feedback. And then you can either put the bill number in or search all the bills for what you're looking for, or message me, email me, and I'll let you know what the bill number is. But it's a super easy way online to leave your thoughts, and our legislators need our comments. They need our input, positive and negative. And then I also wanted to thank the folks who came and used their time to speak on Black History Month. The poem that you recited, sir, reminded me of my absolute favorite book that I read to my kids. It's called, I actually got it at Monkey Wrench downtown. It's called Something Someday, and it's by presidential inaugural poet Amanda Gorman, and it's about exactly that. They tell you it can't be done, and it can together. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Michael.
I really didn't have too much today. I do want to thank everybody that came to speak today on the proclamation. I also wanted to say thank you to our Public Works Department. I think they've done a wonderful job keeping up with this weather lately, and I just wanted to extend my thank you to them.
Councilor Overcome?
I'm just going to repeat everything everybody said. Thank you all for coming in for the proclamation. Welcome to our committees now. And it's so cold, I've been stuck in the house, so I don't have anything to report. I'm good.
Thank you. Yeah, our warm-up event was held at a very opportune time. It was freezing. It was so cold on the night of our warm-up event that they canceled the point in time count, which I found to be very ironic. But good for us.
Fortuitous.
Good for us. People were more able to come. A lot of the employees who work with a lot of our unsheltered folks were able to be there. We had, I don't know, 125 people or something like that. We raised well over $3,000. Still trying to tally that up, but thanks to Councilor Hollingshead and to Councilor Downs, who both helped me out with that event quite a bit. It was, and LJ at 123, he was always integral to that, to the success of that event. So I think this was our best one yet, and hopefully it really helps because they are spread very thin this year. The Jerome Park Neighborhood Association met last night. Yeah. Big topics of conversation there were, you know, goings on at Paul Preserve Park, their neighborhood park. They're interested in getting a little free library and some Bow Park activities in their park for the summer. So working with them on that. They also had a lot of feedback on plowing and salt treatment. A lot of good feedback, a couple of concerns that I will pass along to Damian Davis and Megan Deely, but generally, I think everyone feels that they've been doing a really great job throughout this weird ice thing, whatever happened. I will say, I reached out to the city manager and Director Davis yesterday, and I don't know if this actually had anything to do with it or not, but I asked about the possibility of Public Works helping with some of the sidewalks downtown, which normally fall to business owners, but as you know, if you own a sidewalk, it's been impossible to find salt to buy. I know Councilor Downs said he had a pickaxe trying to chisel ice off of one of his sidewalks. So I did ask if there was anything Public Works could do. And as I drove through downtown today, I saw them out hard at work in several different areas. So I'm not sure if they had been planning that or not, but I was very, very grateful to see that because sometimes even people with the best of intentions need a little bit of help. That was a crazy ice storm that we had.
Looks like it's coming this week too.
Yeah, yeah, it's probably doing it right now.
Yeah.
It was snowing as I got here. I had my NLC University Communities Council meeting today. I saw your name on the survey list, so we just had an introduction for the year. They decided that our top 5 focus areas for communities across the country that are home to higher education, we as a committee will be focusing on community engagement, housing development with zoning and planning, education and workforce development, economic development, and transportation and infrastructure. So, you know, just a couple of small things, no big deal. And I also, just to keep you all in the loop, the last item, I had the first official meeting of the West Virginia Works cohort through the Institute for Justice last week. And we had a nice overview. We shared some things that we thought were working in our towns and things that we thought could use some work in our towns. And in February, they assigned homework. I'm really reconsidering my choice to participate, but we're supposed to have some conversations with a few city staff members that we don't normally work with, and a couple of entrepreneurs who have tried to open restaurants specifically, because in February, our meeting will be about trying to streamline the starting a restaurant kerfuffle that a lot of folks seem to get into. So I'll certainly reach out to some staff on that and see who would like to attend the next meeting with me. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all. We do have an executive session. Is there someone willing to read us into executive session?
Who wants to? I have it up.
You have it there.
Discussion of matters related to law enforcement procedures under West Virginia Code 6-9A 4B12 pursuant to West Virginia State Code Section 6-9A 4B2A to discuss personnel matters and considering new appointments for boards and commissions. And I move that we move into executive session for these two purposes.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Yes? Great. We'll take a short recess and enter executive session.